The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs recently commissioned a new headstone for Derek Oxford, a Revolutionary War veteran who fought for the colony's freedom while his own was in doubt. Plainfield NH Historical Society, Facebook. Plainfield, NH. AP, descendants of Derek Oxford and the white man who owned him shook hands at the Corryville Cemetery on Saturday, where they gathered to commemorate the Revolutionary War veteran who fought for the colony's freedom while his own was in doubt. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs recently commissioned a new headstone for Oxford, after new research revealed that he likely was buried under a weathered, mossy stone in the Ladue Road Cemetery. Descendants of Oxford came to remember him, including Bonita Johnson, of Bridgeport, Connecticut, who said she was Oxford's fifth great-granddaughter. Less than element greater than Johnson said that her family was taking inspiration from Oxford's example, despite having learned of their ancestor only recently. He was in a struggle of his own, but he thought about others instead of his own self, she said after the ceremony. After combing through historical records, Johnson and Upper Valley researchers like Jane Stevenson of the Plainfield Historical Society found that Oxford was enslaved by the Gallup family of Stonington, Connecticut, in the mid-late 1700s. He moved north with the family to Hartland in 1775. A few years later, military musters show him in the 1st New Hampshire Regiment, which distinguished itself in the pivotal battles of Ticonderoga and Saratoga. "There's still many things we don't know about Derek," Stevenson told a crowd of at least 50 under a tent in the light rain. Less than gallery greater than that includes whether or not Oxford was ever freed, when he died, and even how he chose the name Oxford. Military records show that he departed the Continental Army on sick leave before it wintered in Valley Forge, and that he returned near the end of 1778, staying until July 1780. The British surrendered at Yorktown the next year. Oxford later joined the Vermont militia, and then moved to Plainfield. But otherwise, information about him is scarce. He does not appear on the 1800 census, so researchers assume that he died after 1790. New England states began to abolish slavery around that time, but no manumission papers for Oxford have yet been found. Revolutionary War reenactors with the 1st New Hampshire Regiment were present to honor Oxford on Saturday. Lorenzo Arredondo, a teacher from Fremont, New Hampshire, said he and the regiment were proud to preserve an African-American soldier's memory, given the unique struggles they faced in the War for Independence. "Their memories are just whispers on the wind, and they don't really get thanked for their service," he said. With that, 3 Continentals arranged themselves next to the gravestone. 1st New Hampshire, Arredondo called. "Make ready. Present. Fire," in 2 volleys. Only one musket appeared to go off. Earlier, Arredondo had noted that possibility, given the rain. "We did warn you," he said. After the ceremony, Stevenson introduced Johnson to Cindy Roberts, a Gallup descendant who lives in Vermont. Standing among worn, rain-dotted gravestones, they shook hands and exchanged pleasantries for a moment. "Thanks for coming," Johnson said, smiling. "It was really nice to meet you." Roberts, of Rutland Town, was among several Gallups in attendance. She said the news about Oxford and her ancestor made her want to know more about her family's history. "This is all a revelation to me," she said. "It's exciting," Johnson said later. "It's a historical moment. I'm really proud." Descendants of Derek Oxford and the white man who owned him gathered at the Corryville Cemetery on Saturday to commemorate the Revolutionary War veteran who fought for the colony's freedom while his own was in doubt. Plainfield NH Historical Society, Facebook.